is dead. And I'm alive.
Maggie!
Maggie, the cat is alive. I'm alive. Why are you afraid of the truth?
Truth!
That was Elizabeth Taylor in one of her greatest ever roles, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Now I want to talk about her legacy, the cause that was closest to Elizabeth Taylor's heart, her work in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Here with me now is Mathilde Krim, founder of the American Foundation for AIDS Research, and Kenneth Cole, the fashion designer and chairman of amFAR. Mathilde, let me start with you. When Elizabeth Taylor got involved in AIDS, it was incredibly unfashionable for her to do that. It was dangerous. It was a huge risk for her as a big star to be doing this, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was a risk for her because she has had all the strength and the courage and the dedication to do what she was doing, that nobody could touch that. And she was really, as this piece of film we just saw had us say, she was never afraid of the truth.
That's certainly true. I mean, yeah. Kenneth, that was a great driving thing about Elizabeth Taylor, was she didn't care really what people thought. She would do what she thought was the right thing.
She had a genuine sense of social justice and appropriateness, and she was undeterred, and she could not understand why everybody didn't realize how critical the need was for appropriate funding and resources to address this critical AIDS crisis. And this was in 1985 when she and Dr. Krim founded amFAR. And it wasn't until '87 to paint the times until Ronald Reagan, who was president then, mentioned AIDS publicly, and till 40,000 people had already died, and he did it ironically at an amFAR event. But she was steadfast, devoted to this message, and she was an extraordinary messenger of it.
Mathilde, I mean, although you say that she didn't see it as a risk, everybody else did. It was a huge deal for a Hollywood star like her to be going after this kind of cause. What effect do you think that Liz Taylor had on, I must call her Elizabeth Taylor, she hated being called Liz, even though everybody else did, Elizabeth Taylor had on AIDS, on people, you know, wanting the treatment? What tangible effect did she have to improve people's lives, do you think?
She had two effects, I think. One is what she was delivering is an expression of solidarity for people at risk or with the disease, which had enormous importance because the despair in that community was tremendous. And I shared the despair and was very upset by the situation, and at the same time very encouraged by somebody like Liz Taylor, who had the courage to speak publicly and speak the truth. Secondly, she had a similar impact on people at large. Many good people in this country would have liked to do something, perhaps, or would have liked to know something they did not know. And there was a terrible lack of resources invested in fighting AIDS. And the most important resource lacking was understanding and empathy. And she made the correction there. And we have had a public that was much more understanding and supportive since she became involved.
Kenneth, she came out with this phrase, "We all have AIDS," and that had this huge impact around the world because it was Elizabeth Taylor saying it. You know, what she made fashionable was it was okay to support the gay community and to support AIDS research and to raise money for AIDS in a way that nobody had really been able to force through into mass appeal.
This campaign that you're looking at right now was actually inspired by her message, her bigger message, that in effect, AIDS was not an American problem. We were originally the American Foundation for AIDS Research. We evolved into the Foundation for AIDS Research because she was adamant that AIDS wasn't an American crisis, it was a global pandemic. And if it existed anywhere, it essentially existed everywhere. If anyone was infected, everyone was affected. And this was, so she somewhat inspired this campaign, and everybody coming together, holding hands, wagons circling around the importance of communicating this critical message.
Mathilde Krim, Kenneth Cole, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Coming up, more memories of Elizabeth Taylor from a co-star and someone who had an early encounter with her and never forgot it.